Hey, what's up, Guardians? Just here to pop up some friendly, helpful Crucible tips on Unicorn Shade. In the background is just a gameplay of me and my buddy. We're doing a survival competitive match where we beat a team of 4, and we were a team of 3. One of our guys left. So, I'm going to talk about some rules of engagement, just to give you some ideas about how to get yourself to be a little bit better as a Crucible player in Destiny 2. So basically, engagement, what I mean when I say that is about any time that you have to be shooting at another Guardian and they are shooting at you as well. And then we'll talk about that a little bit more later. So anytime you engage an enemy Guardian, you need to make sure you have a couple things checked off. And so the first is you need to make sure you have as much health as possible. Destiny 2 is kind of different from some other games like Titanfall and Call of Duty and that kind of thing, where the time to kill your enemy is very low, and it's not as important about landing headshots and things like that, because the enemy usually dies within a second or so of you shooting at them. However, in Destiny 2 and in original Destiny, you see that you have shields and health, and it takes a lot longer to kill a Guardian. So headshots really, really matter, especially if you're using things like a scout rifle or a hand cannon, auto rifle. Basically, all of them as well really matter if you're using those primary weapons. Headshots really matter. That being said, you need to make sure you have as much health as possible going into a fight to give yourself the best advantage possible. The next thing you need to have the right gun equipped. So, as you'll see here, as I'm defending against that guy, I'm using the AFK guy as bait. I'm switching weapons as the enemy Guardian gets closer. I have an auto rifle out as he was strafing across, and then as he gets really close, I switch to my sidearm. Which brings me to the weapon loadouts. In Destiny 2, you have a nice little deal where you can run your kinetic or your energy weapon as a primary or a secondary kind of feel. I'm not super picky about loadouts, just whatever I'm feeling at the time, but what I do try to make sure is that I have at least one primary weapon, and then either my other weapon is a sidearm or an SMG, a submachine gun. The reason for that being is because those guns have a lot lower time to kill on enemy Guardians, so when you're using them in close quarters, you're going to be at a lot more of an advantage than someone who is using a hand cannon or a scout rifle or even a pulse. Basically, what I classify as the primaries are this pulse, scout, auto, and hand cannon. And so you need to make sure that you have the right weapons equipped. So as I'm in all that close quarter, even though I died, as I'm going up to those guys, I have my sidearm out. And as I'm out in the open, or if I'm not expecting to engage a Guardian very close, you'll see I switch to my auto rifle right there, because I know that those Guardians are not that close. Another thing you want to do is you want to make sure you have enough ammo in the clip to kill the enemy you're about to face. And what I mean by that is not necessarily having a full clip, because later on you'll see me taking out a Guardian that was mid-reload after shooting probably about in between 3 to 5 rounds from his scout rifle. He chose to reload as I was shooting at him, which was probably just out of habit. And so you really need to make sure if you're using a scout rifle that you aren't just reloading after every kill, that you need to make sure that you're reloading when it's safe to reload so that you don't get jumped when you're reloading, and then there's just nothing you can do at that point. The last thing is you just need to make sure you know what supers and grenades and your melees, what's off cooldown, what you have in your toolkit to defeat an enemy Guardian. Right here, I made a really poor choice by leaving my rift to contest that guy. It probably would have been better for me to just stick right where I was and either wait for him to come to me or just leave that engagement entirely. So I'm going to talk about just some class-specific abilities and how and when to use them. So first off, I'll talk about the Titan Barricade. What you see right here going on is some nice barricades set up by the enemy team. They're doing a really great job. The only problem, though, is that they were trying to attack me on that same side. So for me, the way that I see the barricade for the Titan is really not necessarily something to give you like an extra like cover to shoot from, but more of just a solid wall to prevent your enemy from shooting at you. Because if you have that barricade up, they're already aiming down sights at the barricade waiting for someone to peek. And you're just at a disadvantage at that point if you go to peek, because they're already going to be firing by the time you're moving out of the barricade. So that the other thing is the rally barricade versus the towering one, the big one versus the small one. Crucible, highly recommend the big one, because the small barricade, it is very easy for your opponent to just jump up and have easy headshots on you if you're using that rally barricade. Yeah, you may get the auto reload every time you crouch, but that's just more of a player versus environment, PvE barricade use, in my opinion. The next thing is the Warlock Rift. It may seem silly to just say it outright, but it's it's more serious than you realize. That a Warlock probably should just use the Healing Rift in almost every circumstance. The Healing Rift is just so much more useful in Crucible when you're having close and quick engagements. Having that constant health regen as you're fighting an enemy is so much more valuable than having the empowered bullets. The other thing is when you're using rifts, great place to use rifts are at corners of where your team is engaging an enemy. Every once in a while I'll pop my rift on a corner and then I'll walk around where I'm still in the rift to engage the enemy. That way I can have a much safer engage for me than I would if I were to just peek without any kind of healing. And then the last one is the Hunter Smoke. Unfortunately, I haven't played as much Hunter as I would like, and so the smoke was the only thing that I could really come up with. Using the smoke in terms of you need to use, it's a great blinding effect, really great blinding effect against your opponents, but you need to have blinded them before they see you, because if they already know where you are when they're blind, they're just going to shoot right where they saw. So using it at corners is running away and they go to chase, you throw it at the corner before they get around, and then you jump or something, or you move somewhere where they would not expect. That would be the best option for using the smoke grenade. So moving on, three different types of engages. You have the full health versus full health when you're just doing like a one-on-one or whatever duel. If you both engage each other at full health, that's a skill-based engage. It's usually, preferably, the least desired engage you want, because we're not here to play fair, we're here to win. And if you're always going to have to go skill-based against your opponent, you aren't always going to win, because there is always someone better than you out there. So what you want to do is you want to use grenades and priming your enemies and flanking and things like that to get the upper hand on your opponent. The next one is low health. You have low health versus them at full health. This is really a scenario that you just don't want, period, if you can help it. Obviously, you can't always fix that or avoid that, but if you don't have full health and you're not immediately in danger, you should not be running into the fight, because that's just asking to get killed faster. So you need to wait, regen your health, regen your shield, and then go back into the fight. Because there's no reason to just throw yourself at them again. You don't need to be a hero. You're not Rambo. You're not going to pull out a clutch 3v1 or 1v3. You really just need to make sure that you have full health if you're not in danger. Every once in a while, or a couple clips. So like that Guardian right there, what he should have done is he should have stayed behind that pillar and tried to regen as much health as possible instead of trying to flank, because we were already waiting for him to come around. The last one is you having full health and them having low health. This is the best engagement, obviously, because you're going to be able to kill them so much faster than they will you. And it's just, period. It's the best engagement you could have possible for yourself. Turning the page. Basically, you just need to use what you can to get them low before the engage. So before they start shooting at you, you just want to get them as low as possible. Just another quick, easy tips. We have the shoot, melee, shoot. In Destiny 1, it was 2 melees to kill a Guardian from full health. In Destiny 2, it is actually 3 melees to kill a Guardian from full health. So that diminishes the power of a melee a little bit. But if you're in close quarters, you want to be walking towards them while shooting. And as soon as you get close, I like the Warlock for the extended melee range. You throw out your melee, and usually it doesn't quite kill them, but it leaves them with a sliver of health. And they usually throw a melee at you, but they do it after you. They do it as a reaction, and so you have slightly more time than them. And so at that point, after you throw out your melee, you immediately start holding down the trigger. You don't worry about aiming down sights yet. Just hold down the trigger so that you start firing as soon as possible and finish them off, because they're going to have almost no health, and they are going to have just meleeed you, and they're going to be doing the same thing. But since they meleeed you second, you have the upper hand. And so that's the shoot, melee, shoot. This poor guy just runs in with his Sentinel super. That's the other thing. So right there before you saw a guy cast his Sentinel, and I told my buddy, we got to run. And so we just took off. We didn't even try to fight the dude. And we're just trying to get out of there. That's another thing. You don't really want to contest supers all that much. Obviously, like Nova Bomb, you can't really contest it, along with Fist of Havoc when they first use it. Like, those are kind of obvious that you can't just be like, oh, yeah, I'll just run from a Nova Bomb. If they're not using the giant Nova Bomb and they're using the smaller one, and you're fairly out in the open, you can try running straight at them and hope and pray that the Nova Bomb will go over your head. But it's hit and miss on that. Talk a little bit about slicing the pie. A couple times when you're fighting a group of Guardians, you'll walk around a corner and you'll see that there's a whole bunch of Guardians. So instead of just trying to fight them all at once, back up and then start walking towards the corner and going for trying to get just one Guardian at a time engaging. And that'll be a lot more beneficial for you. Another thing, tell you about playing versus snipers versus swords versus shot, rocket, grenade launcher, fusion rifle. So playing versus a sniper. You see someone pick up sniper ammo in the kill feed. That changes your play style pretty drastically. Not super drastically, but basically the changes you need to make is that when you're going around corners that you don't see, or you don't know if there's anyone there, you need to either be sliding around the corner or jumping, because any Guardian that is worth half their sense is going to be aiming at head level with a sniper on that corner. And if you just book it full sprint around the corner, you're going to get sniped in almost instantly, and you're going to get angry and upset, get tilted, lose, whatever. Playing versus swords, really just don't want to be engaging in close quarter because they're going to be able to close the gap really quick. When you're using a sword against enemy Guardians, if you need to close the gap, give it a R1, R2 tap, so your light and then your heavy attack. And then your heavy attack will go extra distance and it will seek out enemies. And I've used this a couple times.
All right,
maybe
kill
we'll
him.
get some footage for it and throw it in here. The other thing Let's see. Shotguns, basically the same thing. You don't want to engage them close. Shotguns are so much more powerful in Destiny 2, and because they're power ammo, people are more likely to just spam shots at you.
Yeah,
they have a lot more range, a lot more damage output than they did before when they were much slower firing. Let's see. Auto and crouching. So if you have an auto rifle and you're shooting a nice little trick, usually technically with any weapon you can do this. It's easiest with auto rifle, in my opinion. But when you're shooting at a Guardian and they're shooting at you, they're aiming at your head, same as you. And so if you crouch, suddenly your head is no longer there, and you're not taking damage for maybe a couple half seconds, milliseconds even.
I'm just going to use this AFK guy
and that can be the time it takes for you to kill them without dying. Because trading isn't the best idea ever, or is not the best option. It is much better for you to survive.
Where's the AFK guy?
Don't chase.
Yeah, he departed.
It's one thing to
as bait for
be shooting at an enemy, they duck around a corner, they have no shield, you go and you kill them, you finish them off. That's fine. The thing that is bad is when you see them turn tail and run, and you pursue them for a ways. Because once they start getting out of your field of vision, for all you know, they could turn around and be ready to kill you by the time you pull around the corner, and then you've got your pants down, you're in full sprint, and they're ready to kill you, and you're just going to lose. You want to make sure the safest option is to run from supers. Safest option.
Contest them a little bit.
Obviously, you can't run from Nova Bomb. Blah, 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 blah. Don't get caught with your pants down.
Stay there. I'm going to see if I can flank
That's
around.
the sprinting. When you're running to engage the enemy, you shouldn't be sprinting the whole way. Once you get close enough that they can't see you and you can't see them yet, but they're on your radar, you need to stop sprinting. Because if you sprint around the corner and there's an enemy there, chances are he's probably aiming down sights at you, and he is going to start shooting at you. And you won't have your gun up. You'll still have to stop sprinting, pull your gun up, and start shooting. And by that time, your shield's already gone, and you're dead. The same thing with reloading. Just because you don't have a full clip doesn't mean you need to reload. Big thing with scout rifles, because scout rifles only take maximum like 6 shots to kill a Guardian if you're landing headshots on and off through there. You don't necessarily have to reload if you're safe. Obviously, yeah, reload. But if there are more Guardians pressing in on you, reloading may not be your best option. Because if they come around the corner and you're still popping the clip back in, you aren't going to be able to shoot them, and they are. They're going to be able to kill you so fast. Using radar in Destiny 1, it was a lot easier to interpret the radar. If the red was faded on your radar, it meant they were at a different altitude than you, which they were above or below you. And then if it was solid, they were at your level. The radar in Destiny 2 is a little bit more confusing.
I want to try and make them use the super on me if I can.
Still trying to figure that one out, so I can't help you there. I'm so sorry. Airborne targets are easy targets, except in the case of rocket launchers and grenades, grenade launchers, because those things are more of an area of effect damage. And so if you're standing next to something that the rocket can detonate on, other than you, you are in much more danger than you would be if you were airborne, and the only thing that could kill you is it actually hitting you. And in that case, you're already going to die. I didn't mention that's fighting against rockets and grenade launchers. Fusion rifles,
good.
All you can really do, if they have enough health to just tank your bullets long enough for them to charge up their shot, there isn't a whole lot you can do. So you need to make sure that either you are running or you have them low enough that you can kill them while they're charging their shot before they get it off. Because if they get that shot off, you're dead. 9 times out of 10. Let's see. You need to make sure you're reading the enemy supers. In Destiny 2, it's really nice. It shows you what supers your enemy team has, and it shows you when they're up. If the enemy team has a shadow shot ready to go, then you probably shouldn't
Down,
cast
get
your
to me.
Storm Trance and start running around the map. Vice versa, Fist of Havoc, Storm Trance, or Dawn Blade,
I got
whatever.
him.
Because that Night Stalker could easily shut
Sentinel
you down
shield.
with a tether.
No, turn around, turn around, turn around,
So
run.
make sure you're reading those enemy supers. Also make sure that you're just consciously aware
Run
of
left.
what they have available.
Don't die
and
on
on
me,
top
down.
of that, also using the kill summary. Someone picks up sword ammo. You're watching
That
on
is
your
legit.
field
The only thing we
of
can do is
vision.
run.
One of your blueberries, your allies, drops dead.
Okay.
And it says
Probably
that it was
gone.
killed by a sword dude. You probably shouldn't go over there, because there's a sword dude.
Balls.
Just common sense things. The last thing, playing... let's see. I already discussed playing. I'll go a little bit more in depth about slicing the pie, because that was kind of... Slicing the pie is actually a real term that just people use in military, and basically whenever you have a weapon, when you're engaging a room, as you're coming around the corner, you're taking the room one slices at a time.
Down. Over here, over
You
here.
take a slice, you make sure there are no enemies, you take another slice, do the same thing, and you keep going until you have one enemy. You don't need to fight two enemies at once, because that's just stupid. You're not going to win unless your opponents are freaking stupid.
Woo!
One enemy at a time. You get that so much easier, slicing the pie. So that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for listening and watching to these Crucible tips. I'll just let the gameplay finish out, and you guys have a great day. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Round start.
3v4 doesn't mean anything if they're bad.
So right now I'm just going to point out some of the things that I was talking about applying and just applying it into the basic gameplay.
Fall back a little bit.
So here I cast my
Got an enemy
rift
flanked behind.
right at the corner so I have a good spot of defense. There's this guy, casts his barricade. The improper use of the barricade, and the grenade was okay,
Watch out. Oh.
but he keeps going. He wasn't at full health and he keeps pushing ahead and gets him killed. Reload because I'm safe.
Do both teams start with 8 lives?
Yes.
So we do have a higher life. per
Oh,
person.
balls.
See that there are too many dudes for me to encounter, so I just book it the heck out of there. There's no need for me to die trying to survive.
5 lives left.
Man, I suck with stuff.
There, I probably could have stopped sprinting sooner.
Oh, jeez. He has a sword.
Yeah, there's a sword dude.
Not anymore. Dude, shoot him! Wow, that engage was really sad to watch on that dude. Like, through like a good 2 seconds where no one is shooting anyone.
Some pretty bad shooting right there.
Balls.
How did that guy just feel free to walk into my grenade?
I don't know.
Hey, where are you, David? We gotta keep up.
I'm reviving now. Okay, just stay where you are. Excuse me.
There's the guy.
He has a sword.
So right here, he should have stayed behind the wall and tried to regen health. Great barricade.
Careful, that wall is gonna break very soon.
For your enemy.
Guy's reloading. Probably ran out of ammo. Just really unfortunate for him.
Did we just do it? Oh no. I was like, what?
Close.
They have
Here I'm
3
crouching,
people
just
left.
trying to get aware of what's on the radar. Crouching causes your arrow to blip on
Charging
and
a
off.
grenade.
Slay your enemy and they stay dead.
All right.
No lives left on either side.
Remember how I said airborne target is
Okay,
easy
there's
target?
one left.
Yeah, I started getting shot at almost immediately as soon as they saw me. But, I mean, it works
Oh,
out.
I'm up again.
The charge grenade.
This is good.
10 seconds.
Poor guy reloading.
He should not have reloaded. He was reloading, so I just got a kill. No problem.
Nice.
I have 30 opponents defeated. Jeez.
them where you want them. Finish this.
Crouching around the corner. This is a good example of the slicing, the pie.
Enemies coming around behind. Let's turn and face them a little
Right
bit.
here. This is a great example. I throw my rift out, great spot. There are 3 enemies, so I take it back. So I'm only shooting at 1 and only get shot at by 1. Fortunately, I still get
I'm
killed,
dead.
but
There's
I was
still a
able to
healing
take 2
rift
of
on
them
me.
with
Oh.
me, which is really good in terms of like a survival playlist where you're trying to deplete the enemy lives.
They have a sentinel shield up. And they picked up sword
And
ammo. We need to get
being
outside.
aware
We
of
need to get
what
outside.
supers they have. We move outside here because that's going to be the best way for us to face the sentinel guy. There he is. So he gets around a corner.
Okay. Run,
But now
run,
what
run
we
from
do
the sentinel
is we
shield.
pincer him right as his sentinel runs out. See, I was reloading right there, but I used my grenade to
I got
cancel the reload animation so I can melee him. And that was, if I hadn't canceled the reload animation, obviously I almost certainly would have died.
Is that your grenade?
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to cancel the reload
Okay.
with either like a quick sprint or a melee thrown out.
The enemy team is out of lives. Top
They're out of lives. Their whole team is going to be up, though.
So right here we see that they have a position set up and they're holding it down. They've got
What
a
is he
barricade.
doing?
They're committing to shooting from that barricade. That's the problem. Instead of just ignoring us, they're trying to shoot from the barricade. So I just run around. Wasn't the best Nova bomb, but it worked out because my buddy had his super.
Woo!
But using that barricade to
finish it up.
shoot from as cover instead of just using it to prevent them an area, just canceling an area off, wasn't the best option for them. What they should have done is they probably just shouldn't even
Get wrecked!
spread out or been there.
Get wrecked!
But it worked out for us, which was good.
the weight of the world.
You see a nice
Woo!
little
And
That was
40 opponents
crazy,
defeated.
dude.
marvelous.
Boom. Boom.
It's a good game. All right, thanks for watching.
Man, we're
You have a great day.
3v4. 3v4.